Hi, this is a project
for designing digital play.
And this is
Film Jam.
Film Jam is a group of people, I guess, who are trying to just make films, really. Usually there's a time constraint for it because it's supposed to be a film that's done in a short period of time. But for our version, we all made films, starting at the same time and under certain themes and other constraints that we decided.
It's really a way to look at the creative process and constraints and how you can use constraints as a way to play and to create in ways that were new to you or ways that you haven't necessarily done before.
I guess when we did the themes, we didn't want to have any preconceptions about it. So if you just chose a theme, it would be more like you'd already know what kind of film you'd make about it. So instead, that's why we played a brainstorming game where each of us started out with a word, and then the next person just said the first word that popped into mind. Then
we played around with the randomness to choose words and the music also.
We all picked at random from the pool of words we had chosen, and then we would go up to a random stranger and say, "Hey, can you choose one of these words?" And they would just pick one at random, and whichever one they picked, that was the word that we had to choose.
We did different variations of that. We kept changing the rules just as we went along. If somebody had an idea, we added that to the game.
I didn't even think about using music as a constraint or having sound constraints at all, except until you brought it up, Jakob, and I was like, okay, that could work. And then, but it wasn't until we started making the films I saw how powerful the music was with creating the film.
At first I thought that music would be an easier way to approach it, because you wouldn't necessarily need to do sound design, which is very time consuming and hard to do. And for me it would make it less necessary to have a dialogue. And I didn't want to do an English dialogue if I need someone else to do it. And also I'm very inspired by music.
Yeah, and it actually worked very well as far as being inspiring. We started out with your song, which was
Afropert.
Yeah. And
a classical piece.
Yeah, a classical piece.
Right.
Spiegel in Spiegel.
Yeah.
As far as I remember.
Right.
Mirror and mirror.
So that, and then shifting to something totally different, totally more, I guess, aggressive and fast-paced.
Was very, very perfect actually, because when you're sitting there and editing yourself, it's like, oh, I want to have this and I want to have this, and you can't make the boundaries. But when other people are sitting there and watching your film, they get bored. When you have film, you see all the details and you are so into it, but of course other people will be bored because they don't see that. So I really like this time constraint.
We initially started with just having 48 hours of production time, and so after that first round, we changed it from a 48-hour working period to just 10 hours of producing over a week.
I never really reached the 10 hours effective, but even if I had all the time in the world, it would still be a nice constraint to have, because I could always sit there and keep editing it over and over again, watching it and editing it, but now I just had to finish something, and I'm very bad at just finishing something, so that was actually a really nice constraint that I needed to have it done.
Something that I guess was difficult for me, but at the same time really enjoyable, was limited resources. I didn't have a tripod to hold anything on, so it was a combination of stacking books or taping my phone to a shelf or something, or making this weird contraption with a lamp and rope.
And I really think that it's, in a way, for me at least, sharpened my creativity in a way, because this, wow, I just need, you were like, oh, I need something now, okay, I will take this one. I just need something, so, and then played around with that. Or, yeah, this disparate situation where you just need to find something up, and then you do it, and then you are, wow, I actually did it, wow. In a way, I really like that.
It was hard at first, but then realizing that, hey, these movies are supposed to be short, they're supposed to be quick, and in a way primitive. And to really have fun with that, and to really enjoy doing shots that aren't necessarily spectacular. I actually had, it was easier for me to create an idea and to execute it when there were the constraints than when there were fewer constraints.
It actually surprised me how inspiring it was to work with, and how your brain got twisted. So I would never have thought about all this if it wasn't for the constraints, I think.
I was very inspired by your interpretation of following orders. As in, I had following orders, okay, so it has to be following orders, as in somebody telling you what to do. But you sort of twisted a little bit into following order instead. And that sort of inspired me in the next film, where it was empty coffee. And I just sort of brainstormed off of that theme, so it didn't have to be empty coffee per se. I didn't have to have an empty coffee cup, even though I had coffee in my film and all that. I went off a different path, just so I was inspired by your take on the themes and sort of twisting them a bit to do whatever you want.
The way we created and brainstormed for ideas was something that was really fun, and a great way to generate ideas, to have that random element, and to choose some ideas and to just merge them together and see what comes up. It's just a great way to step out of your comfort zone and to try something that you would never have tried before.
Yeah. It was just really fun to just see how creative my peers were, how creative you guys were, just because I think that was really enjoyable to see, to think of yourself like, oh, this is the way that I interpreted it, and then to see and to sympathize and to really love how you guys like solved the problem of the constraints and themes.
So yeah, it was very nice, I think, and I would like, also inspired to learn a better editing program, because I could see there was a goal there. It's really cool.
That was also something that inspired me to see everyone else's ideas and how they came to fruition and how good they looked, and to see everyone happy about their own films and also happy about the others, but to really try to put the energy and to have the motivation to make something, and to not just do it as a school project, but to do it as something to show and to share with others, and to make it as some sort of collective experience, and to really contribute and to give all that I could to that, instead of just working with a team on a project.
This project was really interesting. I learned to laugh at myself a lot, and I got to create a lot of really cool and beautiful things.
This project didn't feel like work.
This project was challenging, but really rewarding.
This project was fun.